Hi, I'm Russ, and on today's episode of How Russ Does It, we're going to discuss cutting inside and outside corners. You know, there's several techniques and ways of doing it. I have one in particular that I really like, and we're going to go over them today, and I'm going to go over the scroll saw and show you how to cut them. With today's 2-aught blade, you can do a real nice job just spinning the wood around the blade on thinner materials. But when it comes to thicker materials like cherry or mahogany, 3/4, 1 inch thick, and you're using a number 3 or 5 blade, when you spin the wood around the blade, you don't get those nice, tight, crisp cuts that I really like to see on some of my patterns. So we're going to go over a few techniques on how to do it here on the drawing board, and then we'll go over the saw and I'll show you how to cut them. This is our pattern. We just have a series of inside and outside cuts. Now, the normal way we would do this is we'd start maybe over here in this corner and we'd work our way up, turn the wood, go back down into the corner, make a spin, go back out, and continue this on the way, all the way through the pattern. Another way we can do this is we make our entry hole over here and we work our way down and gnaw a little area out in this corner so that our blade can rotate around, and then work our way back out to the top. Then we can turn our blade around and work our way back down this side, gnaw a little area out, and then come back out again, and then repeat it over and over. That's another technique we can use. The third technique that I really like, especially have a pattern like something similar to this, like let's say this is a tree and these are the edges of the tree we want to cut out. What I will do sometimes is I'll start my pilot hole right here. Then I will go through and cut straight across the tips of all these, turn, come down, work my way around the rest of the way of the pattern. Then I'm going to pop this section out and remove it. Now I can come in with my blade and I can simply come right down here to the corner, stop, come right down here to the corner, stop, come right down here to the corner and stop, and this little section will fall out, and also come right down here to the corner. This little section will fall out. Come right down here. Stop. Back your blade out. This little section will fall out. That's another way that I like to do it. And I'm going to discuss all the ways. We're going to go over the scroll saw. I'm going to cut them all on a piece of wood so you can see the different techniques and how I do it. And then you can make your own decision which technique you like the best and how to use it. Here we are over at the scroll saw. I'm using 3/4 inch pine and a number 3 Flying Dutchman Ultra Reverse blade. I want to apologize ahead of time for some of my cuts. They're probably not going to be as straight or as good as they should be. I'm having to sit at kind of an angle, and my light's at an angle to make sure the cameras that I'm using have a good field of view, so it's kind of awkward for me, but we'll go ahead and give it a try. I'm going to use, I'm going to go into this, the inside corner, and on the outside corner I'm going to use what is called a spin technique, where you try to hold your blade in position and rotate the wood around to make the cut. That's when I come into these corners I'm going to stop, rotate the wood around, holding my blade as much as I can in place, and then come back out. Really a lot harder than I thought it would be to do this sitting at this angle and with my magnifying rod off to an angle. Okay, that's just one way of doing some of your inside and outside corners. And notice what we were talking about here is that you don't get the crisp ends on these peaks, nor do you get the tight corners here. The inside corners you don't get really tight. They're rounded. Once again, that's because you're using a thicker wood, 3/4 inch pine, and a number 3 blade. If this was just thinner wood with a 2 watt, the corners would be a lot tighter and a lot nicer. So that's just one technique. Like I said, this is sitting off to the side is kind of awkward. I didn't realize it was going to be this hard. Now we're going to go into this corner and show what I call, we're going to use the blade to gnaw out into this corner to make room for the blade to turn. So bear with me and let's see how this goes. Now this is what I call them. You're just going to make a little cuts back and forth into this corner. To give your blade room to rotate around and making that a lot tighter of a cut. And we're going to come out. Now we can use this same technique here. I'm going to change up a little bit and show you this. You can use this same technique to gnaw out a little hole. Give your blade room to turn to make this a nice tight outside corner. Come back into the corner again. Use your blade to cut. An area. Next technique that we're going to use, I really don't like it. I don't use it, but for the sake of showing the different techniques, I'm going to show you how to do this. And that is, when we come down here to the end, we're going to spin around out into this waist area, and then we're going to go back down into the inside corner. All the way into the inside corner. We're going to back out. We're going to spin around out into the waist area, back down into the inside corner, and then come out. So we'll go over this technique next. Now when it comes to this outside piece, I'm just going to come out here, rotate around out into the waist area, and then come right back down. Try to keep my fingers out of the way so y'all can see. And we're going to come down into this inside corner. Stop. We're going to back up, turn around out into the waist area. Didn't work out quite as good as I wanted it to. And then we're going to back down in, turn, and then come back out. Once again, come to the outside peak. Go around out into the waist area. Come back. Come down to the inside corner. Come all the way into the corner. I'm going to back out. Go around out into the waist area. Back down in, turn, and then come out. I really don't like or use that technique. I just thought it would throw it out there for just for y'all to see, and maybe some of you might try it and use it and really like it, and that'll be great. That's what I'm kind of hoping to accomplish, is to show you different techniques. You try what you like and learn to use it. Of the couple of techniques I just showed you, I really like this going out here to the end and just making a little gnaw and have room to turn the blade into, and then coming back down to your inside corner and do the same thing. Gnaw a little space, turn, come back out. That really seems to produce a lot tighter corners for me. Now we have one more technique that I'm going to go over, and that's a technique that I use sometimes, especially if you're cutting a pattern like this, something like this kind of a design where you have a lot of inside and outside corners on it. It's a technique that I like to use, so we're going to go to that technique next. Okay, here we are back. Got everything set up and we're fixing to get ready to cut. Let me swing this around where you can do. What we're going to do is we're going to start over here. And I'm going to come out and I'm going to go across, just like I showed you on the board, across the top of these peaks. I'm going to continue all the way down to the end of the pattern. Then I'm going to turn and go out and cut around the edge, come back and pop that section out, and then we'll go back and cut these inside corners down the pattern and show you how that works. So we're going to start off. Come along and catch the end of these peaks all the way down. I'm going to turn and pretend this is the end of our pattern. Going to come down like this is our pattern, follow in a line. Come back. Okay, now we're just going to take this section out. And what that does is leave us our inside corners to be cut all the way down the pattern. So that's just as simple as coming in here like this. Come down this side, maybe a peek to the corner, stop, back out, come over to this side, follow it all the way down, pop that section out. Come to the next one. Back out. Over to the other side. Get out. And one more. And there you have it. I really like this way of doing the pattern. It makes really nice peaks out on the end and really tight inside corners. If I have a series of inside and outside corners like this in a pattern, I will use this technique that I did where we just spun the wood around the blade. And like I said, you don't get, it's hard to see, I think it is for you for the camera, but you don't get the crisp, tight inside corners, and the outside corners are kind of rounded from using that technique. On a thinner wood, using a 2/0 blade, it works great. You can achieve real nice inside and outside tight, crisp corners. This is the second one that I did, where we gnawed out into the inside corners, and on the outside corners it creates a lot tighter and crisper inside and outside corners. I like that technique. If I'm doing any of the three, this is my second favorite that I use. And then this is the third one. I didn't go all the way and cut around the outside parameter of the circle, but that was supposed to be where the pattern was. I hope you get the idea of what I was talking about this being the outside of the pattern. But you just come across and cut across the top of the peaks, follow your pattern around, pop this void out, and then come back and just cut down. And this one really does also create some real nice tight inside and outside crisp corners. I really like this technique. I use this technique quite a bit. Thank you for joining me for another episode of How Russ Does It. I hope that you can use something that I've shown you here today to help make your scroll sawing just a little bit better. Also, if you don't mind, subscribe to me here on YouTube, Simply Wooden Creations, and like me on Facebook, Simply Wood Creations, and stop by my website, simplywoodencreations.com. Thank you again, and God bless.